Hello, good morning to everyone. My name is Nur Muhammad and I'll start off our case study and comparative analysis presentation for Group 6 and about the two buildings that we have chosen, which is Harriet Ward University and Leonardo da Vinci College. To start off, a small introduction about the two buildings. Firstly is Harriet Ward University, which is located in Putrajaya, Malaysia with a tropical rainforest climate. This building was designed by Hijaz Kasturi Associates. The team created a design where the scheme feels open from the ground to reveal hidden treasures in the form of knowledge spaces and is the first green campus in Malaysia. Secondly is Leonardo da Vinci Technical Village College, located in Paris Saint-Germain, France with a temperate oceanic climate. It was designed in collaboration with COSA. The new Lynch Leonardo da Vinci in Saint-Germain inscribes itself into the existing topography and the architecture of the technical college that expresses constructions in mind. Moving forward, I'll talk about the site planning analysis on the two buildings. The site planning analysis is based on the climatic analysis in their respective locations and how do they utilize or avoid it. Firstly is the climatic analysis for Harriet Ward University. Having a tropical rainforest climate with an average 32 Celsius temperature all year round and an average 2,960 mm of rainfall per year. Having two seasons, hot and humid throughout the year, peaking in May and the two monsoon seasons in May to September and October to March. An analysis of the site shows the building is responding to the solar radiation and sun glare at different times of the day, creating a systematic orientation where several clusters or spaces are divided to allow permeability and ventilation to pass through. For the solar response, the building is set into the topography to minimize the sun glare, direct heat gain, and placement of windows facing the north and south acting as a focal point and away from direct sunlight. They have also passively designed the facade orientation to allow enough light to penetrate through. Next is the wind analysis. With prevailing winds very prominent from the south, the spatial planning of the building is oriented to maximize efficient ventilation, allowing as much wind to pass through the building. Moving forward is the site planning analysis of Leonardo da Vinci Technical College, located in Paris Saint-Germain, France with a temperate oceanic climate with averaging temperatures of 22 Celsius and an annual rainfall of 99.2 mm. The climate generally features mild summers and cool but not cold winters. There are four seasons with sunny weather in spring, March to April, and summer June to August, with average temperatures between 26 Celsius and 39.4 Celsius. Chill winter is in autumn, September to December, and winter, January to February, with temperatures reaching as low as 16.1 Celsius. The building is oriented in a way where it has to be designed to protect itself from the summer sun radiation and gain or harness the winter sun efficiently to provide a comfortable environment where the students can study having natural sunlight and to have well ventilated areas. As for the solar response, it shows that the building is divided into floor segments having courtyards and openings allowing natural light. The facade is oriented where each of the educational spaces and technical facilities, workshops, and social outdoor spaces gets plenty of sunlight to either reduce the summer heat sun and harnessing the winter sun for heat efficiently. Next is the prevailing winds that come from the north and mildly heavy on the east-southeast and is mostly dry and warm. The building has openings from all sides of the building, allowing the winds to penetrate to the center through the courtyards, providing passive flow of air. Finally, we can compare the two buildings. Firstly is Harriet Ward University. The architect has taken into consideration of the overwhelming heat from the sun. The open facades of the building is to face the north and south, reducing the thermal heat and sun glare while providing enough sunlight to illuminate the spaces in the university. As for the user experience, the university mainly uses active cooling in each of the spaces of the building, in combination of how the open facades in each space is oriented to avoid the intense heat into the rooms, creating an overall comfortable environment. Secondly is Leonardo da Vinci Technical College. The amount of west-facing windows in the area isn't overwhelming and it's well shaded to keep things cool. The light shines brightest on west-facing walls during the hottest part of the day and is oriented to bring in winter sun while keeping out the hot summer rays. And as for the user experience, the students in the university is provided with a comfortable environment for studies due to plenty of light penetration into the classrooms and harness the available heat from the sun during winter. In conclusion, the two educational buildings has different methods and reasons for their site planning based on their climatic advantages and disadvantages. The Harry Watt University is oriented to minimize heat gain from the sun and forming stack spaces to allow continuous wind flow through the building. The Leonardo da Vinci Technical College, the building is oriented to equally provide heat from the sun in winter and protect the spaces from the summer heat while still allowing plenty of illumination in the spaces.
For daylighting, the Heriot-Watt University is oriented towards north and south, allowing less direct solar direction towards a building envelope and reducing the heat built up in the building. There are various passive design strategies incorporated by the university, which is using the light well and skylight to bring in the natural light into the interior of the building. By using the light well, they can reduce the electric lighting requirements of the building, as well as providing an open space that can be used as an outdoor area. The building also uses a large green roof to provide extra shades and help to reduce solar heat gain of the building, and it also used as a rainwater buffer, purifies the air, reduces ambient temperature, regulates the indoor temperature, saves energy, and encourages biodiversity in the city. Lastly, this building has a lot of large span operable windows that can help to maximize usage of natural lighting during daytime and allow the user to work and continue their activities productively. Next, the Leonardo da Vinci Technical College is oriented towards the northwest and southeast to ensure maximum daylight exposure, hence reducing the artificial lighting consumption. This university incorporates multiple passive design strategies. This includes dark color exterior facades, blades and louvers to invite soft diffuse lighting in the building as well as to reduce glare that could affect the visual comfort of the occupants. A light color building interior helps to capture sunlight within the building so that the spaces is well lit during the day. Other than that, this building used a large cantilevered roof with reflective panels attached to it to invite more sunlight to reach further into the building and brighten up the interior spaces and allow users to work effectively. Finally, if we compare the two, Heriot-Watt University is located in a tropical climate with strong sunshine throughout the year. Hence, the design focuses more on diffusing the sunlight. This is to ensure that the building obtains maximum natural lighting while also ensuring the spaces do not heat up. On the other hand, Leonardo da Vinci Technical College is located in a temperate climate so that the design focuses on maximizing natural sunlight as there is not much solar radiance.
Now, if we move into the facade design analysis on each building, firstly is the Heriot-Watt, which the facade orientation as the positioning of the building is said to be in front of the lake for passive cooling. Windows are also less on the east and west sides of the building as well. Furthermore, the building takes on a form of a curvature of the waterfront as there are more openings facing north and south towards the lake for vistas and cooling purposes. The building envelope consists of mainly raw precast concrete columns, and the walls make up the structural facade, whereby the columns are used as a support for the overall structure. White coat paint is used to lower the heat absorption within the building. Precast concrete walls are also used to have a modular system as they are arranged on the site. Moreover, the concrete provides good thermal insulation in a hot tropical climate, which moves us into the thermal insulation of the building where there are open spaces to allow heat transfer during the night. And the green roof is a catalyst, as in during the day the sun's heat is trapped in the roof facade, and at night the trapped heat in the green roof and walls are released into the environment. Aluminium frame walls are used as a fenestration system to maximize the area coverage to let in as much light as possible. Low E-tinted glass is used in the curtain walls as it reduces the amount of heat loss by reflecting heat energy. So if you look into the facade design fenestration orientation is that the curtain walls are maximized on north and south and less on the east and west. The atrium on the roof allows diffuse sunlight to pass into the open space in the middle. The overall building design form takes a jagged arrangement in the modular form as the upper floor acts as a shading system for the below floor in the form of a building apron. Looking into the Leonardo da Vinci College, where the college takes a open glazed facade concept and diffuses sunlight into the secondary spaces all while avoiding the direct sunlight, hence why the need for an active daylight is reduced greatly. Looking into the building envelope, the components that make up the facade are exterior facade, blades to cast shade on the sun's rays on various angles, bare narrow maintenance on upper floor, and reinforce the tall glasses in the basement level. Steel-framed exposed exoskeleton is used as a rigid form to create the uniform distribution of the facade openings to have a repetitive system for genuine modular flexibility as well. If we look deeper into the facade design, solar screens are used to reduce glare from the sun as well on the first floor, as it's made of mesh with PVC coating. Aluminium fins are to adapt and provide louvered light control within the system as a whole. Light shelves are also used as a passive design strategy to provide the daylight factor necessary for the different functions in space. Finally, if we compare the two buildings, Heriot Watt is designed to decrease the usage of active cooling with the idea of open facade and plan. However, Leonardo da Vinci College is to bring unity with its simplicity in facade design. The spatial experience differs significantly, whereby the curtain wall lets light into the spaces, giving a bigger feel to the space, making it less cramped. On the contrary, the Leonardo da Vinci creates a sense of dialogue and transition between the indoor and outdoor realms with a hint of modernism as well.
The Leonardo da Vinci Technical College is oriented on the north-south axis where the strong southwest wind could cool down the building. The university incorporates multiple passive design strategies into the design. These include an open-air design to allow for cross-ventilation, an open courtyard that acts as an air tube that lets out the hot internal air built up due to the difference in air density, making it so that the building's interior doesn't feel suffocating. And lastly, the exterior facade blades to guide the wind into the interior spaces properly. For ventilation, the windrow states that the wind is the strongest coming from the south, southwest, and west side. The Heriot Watt University is oriented on the north-south axis, allowing the moving winds to blow through it. The passive ventilation strategies incorporated by the university includes using the lake to allow for the cold air from it to passively cool down the building while transferring the heat to the lake. The building design allows for wind to blow into the interior and outside, allowing cross-ventilation to take effect. The wind tunnel effect, created by the stairwells, allows for maximum wind flow, making it so that the hot air that rises from the bottom of the building will exit when it gets to a higher point. The sloped form of the building offers less resistance to the wind, and the design ensures wind to flow around and into the building. If we compare the two, Heriot Watt University focuses on using its position to achieve maximum natural cooling by placing the building next to a lake, and forming it so that the facade of the building is able to guide the strong winds around and into it, while the Leonardo da Vinci Technical College uses its facade and interior as a way to manipulate airflow into and out of the building by designing facade blades and making the building mostly opened up.
With regards to strategic landscaping, the Heriot Watt University has four main benefits from its location. Water management is one of the four benefits and helps the building redirect rainwater which falls on its roof to the lake, which is a water recycling process. This is done with the integration of the green roof as part of the landscape. Speaking of the roof, the artificial addition to the landscape helps with a lot of heat reduction to the site, creating a cool atmosphere throughout the building. Then we have the natural noise control, which is allowed by the immediate environment. The lack of buildings in the vicinity and the abundance of empty land and trees makes sure that the sound waves which travel towards the building is slowly reduced. Last but not least, the glare and heat reflected from the lake is interrupted by a line of trees that stand in between the lake and the university. It basically acts as a natural buffer. Moving on to the Leonardo da Vinci College, this design is in the middle of a semi-urban area. There is a natural cooling system which uses the vegetation in the environment surrounding the building to cool off the atmosphere as well as the building. The same vegetation is also used to cull down the noise from the traffic around the design. Then there is the vegetation introduced by the designers to control and to filter the ventilation which enters through the building's facade and open areas. And the design manages rainwater falling on the roof by redirecting the water to the plants in the central courtyard. Unlike the Heriot Watt University, the Leonardo da Vinci College uses the building and vegetation introduced artificially to adapt to its environment. To sum up the strategic landscaping in one sentence, Heriot Watt becomes part of the landscape and gets access to the benefits, while Leonardo da Vinci College has to adapt and adjust to the landscape to get some benefits.
In conclusion, these two structures of the 21st century use unique and imaginative sustainable responsive design in both tropical and temperate regions. Both structures can benefit from passive green methods, such as landscaping, building orientations, and facade, among others. With the right green measures in place, both buildings may achieve high efficiency and energy conservation. As a result, the building's carbon footprint will be lowered, and the environment will be maintained cleaner and greener by producing less trash and reducing dangerous gas emissions. Green construction approaches can improve the quality of both the indoor and outdoor air. As a result, users in the building will be able to breathe fresh air easily both inside and outside. With clean air to breathe, natural light, and efficient use of energy resources, a comfortable atmosphere is created that allows people to focus on their work and be more productive in education.